Storms. Everyone who's ever lived has gone through storms. Physically, spiritually, literally. They say life is lived in 3 phases. You're either going into a storm, you're in the midst of a storm, or you're coming out of a storm. They say each storm prepares you for the next. But we find that every new storm has a stronger intensity than the last one. Maybe because we're mortal. We live in a sin-cursed world. And as we get older, these storms get more challenging on up to the day of our death. I thought about storms, and physically speaking, there's 3 types of storms, and you take that on a spiritual level. You have thunderstorms that are flashes in the pan and then they're over. You have the tornadoes that come out of nowhere and reap a lot of damage. And you have the hurricanes. You know it's on the horizon and you know it's coming, and it's going to leave a lot of damage, and it's going to be here for a while. You can take those illustrations and make them practical as it concerns storms in our lives. My wife and I have been through several storms, and one in particular happened to us several years ago when she was pregnant with our son. 1 week before our son Liam was due to be born, my wife had a heart attack, which sent us through a major storm in our life. It was during this time that I sat down and did a Bible study on the book of Job. And in that sweet time of communion with the Lord, in the midst of that storm, in the eye of that storm, God gave me 8 challenges, 8 messages from this book of the Bible. These 8 messages I've been praying about, and I'd love to share with our congregation starting September the 8th on Wednesday nights in our adult Bible study time. I've entitled it, The Eye of the Storm. When a storm happens, we ask, why am I going through this storm? We want to know so bad why. Throughout the book of Job, we see a man who's asking God why. And it's significant that what happened in Job's life, because while he knew what had happened, he didn't understand why it was happening. Maybe our natural reaction is to ask why so that there's closure and understanding in our storms, but many times on this side of eternity, we don't understand why we went through that storm. When a storm happens in our life, the temptation is to be self-focused, as in, why do bad things happen to me and not anybody else? No one understands what I'm going through, etc. However, the truth is this: everybody experiences storms. And someone out there has gone through what you've gone through, and that person can encourage you in the Word. In our lives, sometimes we don't understand why something is happening to us. When God allowed appointments come our way, we may or may not be able to understand them, and what God requires of us in those times is faithfulness. Wait and see what God is doing and what He's teaching us. The book of Job is written for us because it gives us a little understanding on the subject of storms. It helps us develop patience as we are going through our storm in life. I know many in our church has gone through storms in the last couple years and are continuing to go through them, and therefore the Lord has laid on my heart. I want to do this as an encouragement and a challenge to each and every person in our church. So I want to invite you on Wednesday evenings down in the fellowship hall for our adult Bible study, starting September the 8th, as we start a new Bible study, as we examine life principles as it concerns in the eye of the storm. I want to invite you to join us as we look in depth on this subject of storms.